Alright. Konnichiwa. Okay, I'm still working on my Japanese.
Sorry you had to see that.
I just came back from a fantastic trip to Japan. I saw a lot of things, ate a lot of different things, especially saw a lot of things in Tokyo. That place has a lot going on. Well, in this video, I'm here to tell you all about my trip to Japan. Spoiler alert, there's a lot. So right off the bat, before I even went on the trip, I've been a huge fan of Japan ever since I was a little kid. See, I was a huge fan of Godzilla growing up, everything Nintendo, Mario, and yes, Pokemon as well. See, I watched a fair amount of Pokemon growing up, but I wasn't too obsessed with it, right? I just appreciated, being a simple fan. I'd play a game or two occasionally, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White. I would memorize the Poke Rap, abuse Action Replay, and collect all the shiny Pokemon. Collect over 10,000 rare cards. This is normal fan activity. I don't see what's wrong about this. See, mainstream Japanese pop culture was just one part of the cake. I've always also been fascinated with Japanese art and culture as a whole, and the mystery that simply is Japan. And lo and behold, this year, everything worked out with my schedule to actually go to Japan for 2 weeks. My sister joined me for the trip. I packed super minimally, not a whole lot of baggage I was gonna bring, just like a backpack and a rollaway suitcase. And we got to the airport. We set off on our, 13-hour flight? Hey, we're already there. Actually, it wasn't too bad of a flight. And so we got our bags, semi-sleep deprived from the long flight that we had, and proceed to walk around the airport. And this is where it hits us. Everything's in Japanese.
Konnichiwa.
What did you say? I said I'll take a...
私の名前はリックです。
So this is the most American thing ever. We go to a foreign country that's a different language than English, and then we're just shocked by how non-English it is. However, we get off our plane and immediately we're lost. We can't find where to leave the airport on like a railway system to get to our hotel. Meanwhile, I have this brilliant idea that's just cooking in my brain here. I go up and find a 7-Eleven in the airport, and I proceed to go to the store clerk and ask for directions.
Wait a second. I have had 2 months of Duolingo prep to get me acquainted in this foreign country.
I proceed to completely butcher my Japanese in front of this guy. He probably didn't even know what language I was speaking or trying to speak, because it definitely wasn't English nor Japanese. I sounded like a dying fish, and so we were at a stalemate. Like, he knew I was really trying. He was like, you go for it, tourist, you got it, but I don't understand what you're saying at all. Eventually, I knew my Japanese wasn't working, and I gave him a polite bow and then proceeded to go on my way with my sister, and I failed the objective of trying to ask for directions. We eventually found the IC card terminal kiosks, which had signs clearly indicating this was the place to go to. We just happened to ignore all those signs. So once we found our way to the right path, we got our IC cards for getting ourselves from the Tokyo airport to our hotel, and had a pretty good night's sleep. But that was one rough start, let me tell you. So Japan honestly feels like such a blur. It went by super fast. We were there for 16 days. This is gonna sound crazy. We stayed at a total of 6 different hotels, and we managed to visit 7 different unique locations, all in the span of 16 days, which is nuts. All thanks to the Shinkansen, aka the Bull Train. That thing is crazy. It goes up to 180 miles per hour. It felt like I was on a plane on the ground, and it was so smooth. So I managed to plan our entire trip on a single Apple Note shared between my sister and I. This thing was a beast. It had at least, 40 pages to it, but every time you opened it up on your phone, it would just lag a little bit, and it wouldn't work right away, but then it would work. It was that dense. Our first part of our trip was in Tokyo. We stayed in 2 different hotels. The first one was just for us to get acquainted to being in Japan in a new country, and was kind of like a layover hotel. And then our second hotel was a pretty sketchy Airbnb, and they canceled on us like 2 weeks before. So I was like, oh great, where else am I gonna stay? But we decided to go with Godzilla Hotel. Literally all Godzilla themed. Want to see a recreated Godzilla movie set? Just go to the elevators that's right in front of there. Need a tissue for your tears of joy? Just grab one from the Godzilla tissue box. Oh, are you feeling a little hungry? Here's a little Godzilla chef to make you Godzilla vs. Mothra on Pancake Island, which happens to feature a cookie Mothra and a full solid chocolate Godzilla. I can't make this up. So that wasn't the only food thing that was like spectacular that we had to try. Some of my other favorites in Tokyo included Ichiran Ramen. Everyone was just by themselves in line, just on their phones, spiraling down into the basement from the alleyway, and it kind of looked like an underground fight club. However, I was assured by staff that we would be served bowls of ramen instead of punches to the face, so that was a relief. But it did feel like my tongue was knocked out and sent to heaven, because that bowl of ramen was insanely tasty. The tastiest tasty I've ever tasted. We also managed to get a booking into Kirby Cafe, which was extremely easy and not me months in advance with 3 devices in front of me constantly refreshing. Not hard at all. It was very easy. Also, super crazy, it snowed during our trip. Oh, jeez. Which, keep in mind, we went during the end of March, which was kind of the start of cherry blossom season, at least a week before it started. All the temperatures for this week were like 65 degrees, 68. And then there's this one day that was 30 degrees and a blizzard. More like a jet blizzard, am I right? What are you, the peanut gallery? Get up! I thought it was so cool outside. I walked around in this blizzard in downtown Tokyo when it was just like nice and spring-like weather out the other day, because it felt and looked like that snow scene from Blade Runner 2049. Really cool. I saw a cherry blossom tree that had all of its blossoms on it during the snowstorm, and it was the petals were coming down, the snow was falling down next to it. It was like, that was so cool. Otherwise, Tokyo was just mind-blowing the entire time. Next up, we visited the peaceful city of Kyoto. And this city was really special to me because mainly loved just walking around the outer banks of the city, which had a lot of surprises. Overall, Kyoto was way more laid back, very chill vibes, tons of historical shrines and points of interest to explore too. It was also such a clean and well-maintained city. Everywhere you looked, you saw a tree that was pruned to look like a bonsai. You were just living in a Zen garden. We took a day trip to Nara and visited the bowing deer. The deer did indeed bow to us. We bow back, they bow to us, and then we hand them a cookie. Like that's the transaction there. And actually one of my favorite parts of Nara was walking to the actual Nara park. Some of the shops had tanukis in them. My sister and I just love tanukis. I just took a bunch of photos with them, but made it look like they were taking selfies of themselves. There was a soccer ball tanuki, and apparently white belly means honest. So that's something you didn't know every day. After Kyoto, our next spot was Osaka, which the food here was pretty darn good. During our time in Osaka, we wanted to go to the Cup Noodles Museum. Apparently, it's only closed on Tuesdays. Tuesday was one of our main open days. My hindsight was not 2020. I did miss that. It's kind of the same vibes as Tokyo with all the billboards and signs, which I love. I love taking photos of that stuff.
Help me, kind sir. Do you have a coin to free me from this plastic prison?
I'm sorry, I only have cash. And we also managed to squeeze in a day trip to Hiroshima and Miyajima, which Miyajima was a little island off to the side, and you take a little ferry to get to it, which is pretty cool. That made for some great photographs of the floating torii gate on the water. Especially with sunset coming down, I just managed to stay there until sunset, and then I had to skedaddle back to Osaka. But the fact that I could do that so efficiently with the bullet trains just blows my mind from an infrastructure perspective. This country is just so connected. Hiroshima was a very relaxed and introspective experience. So much changing since the devastating effects of World War II. I was very much at awe to see how beautiful Hiroshima was as a city and how much it has changed from the photos I've seen. That was probably one of my favorite cities to explore. Finally wrapped up our trip with a 2-day visit to Mount Fuji. That was also super chill. We did a lot of biking around Mount Fuji, and that was it. But throughout my trip, the crowds did get pretty high at certain locations. For context, we were there actually before cherry blossom season even started, so I couldn't imagine the crowds during cherry blossom season, which that just blows my mind for the level of tourism that Japan has gone to. These records are so high, but you just have all these people coming in, and where do they go? Sure, they go to the cultural hotspots that we went to. Now, looking back on it, you can get that same experience in the local parts of Japan and out of the cities, which I guess might be better for tourism, dispersing the crowd across the country rather just in these hotspots. But then you have to keep in mind local areas that maybe locals might not appreciate the level of tourists. So it's a tough game. Lots of people want to go to Japan and experience Japan, which I think they should, but it's just figuring out what tourist levels are the best for the country and the local economy and population. And Japan's even looking into increasing their tourist prices, which could change things. So that's something to keep in mind. It makes me feel ashamed though sometimes when I see influencers go to Japan and just act like they own the place, you know? No respect for the people or the culture. But I know the majority of tourists aren't like this. And hopefully there's some future where tourism and Japan can coexist peacefully. Will I be heading back to the country? 100% yes. I barely got to explore even in like the surface of Japan and what it has to offer. You can't go and experience it all in one trip. And maybe explore Japan off the beaten path. I did appreciate that peacefulness of Hiroshima and some of the other cities around that, like Miyajima. There's this peacefulness that I want to come back to, I think, in the future. Because I just love that. I love just the calming energy from these places. If you want to check out more Japan-themed things from me in the future, you can check out my website, do more side quests. Link will be in the description for that. But in the future, I'm hoping to release a 2-week travel guide for anyone who wants to go to Japan, as well as some merch from my brand, Do More Side Quests. I'll make sure to share an announcement on this channel and my Instagram as well, but if you aren't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you really, really want to stay on top of it all, you can hit that notification bell on YouTube. Just smash it away, crush it, destroy it, I don't know. Just make sure that thing gets hit. I might start to produce more content in this way. I kind of liked how the vibe of this video turned out with cinematic stuff, traveling, animation. There was a lot going on, but I like that kind of craziness of it. It's just something different you don't always see on YouTube. So I'm kind of feeling like that. I might release more videos like this in the future. Not sure what yet though, so stay subscribed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. Bye-bye. Get out of here.